Welcome to Stories and Songs by Afterglow Music. My name is Joel McCausland.
And I'm Kevin Peay, and we've been creating music for a long time.
We'd like to tell you the stories behind our songs. Hey, Kev, let's harken back to an old song you wrote. Gosh, this has got to been mid-'80s, maybe? Early 80s almost.
Yeah, this was for the Greatest Gift album, which was recorded in 84.
So this song is called My Everything.
You are my everything. You've given your love to me. You've taken the load from my life and given me peace of mind. You've been there by my side. You've guided me day and night when I felt so all alone. Your touch has made me strong.
I listened to it again today, and one of the things about this song, the vocal performance was, it was so-so. We were young.
It's really nice, actually.
It was like, okay, I'm going to try and sing this as the best I can. But the arrangement of this song still moves me today. When I hear it, I get past the lyrics and I really listen to what happened. Because this was really our first foray into live strings.
Full orchestration, right?
Full orchestration.
Yep.
And we were so grateful for Deseret Book to put a budget together that we could do that and hire Merrill Jensen and Lauren Ashcraft and this
half
studio.
A dozen string players that could do multiple passes, and it was a nice section.
Well, and what's a beautiful thing is when you watch music in the spoken word, you see Meredith Campbell sitting there in first violin.
Right.
And you see others that we've had the privilege of having string sections inside the studio. And the Darren Bradfords and those people.
I think we even had Kurt Bester play flugelhorn once, didn't we?
At one point in time we did, yeah. I think that was for a love song album.
That was before he was Kurt Bester.
Yeah. Well, I think Kurt would disagree because I think his mom called him Kurt Bester
Probably
in the beginning.
So.
And we love Kurt.
We
He's
love
just
Kurt.
a dear friend of ours. But I was moved by the whole experience of just the orchestra in the studio and watching Lauren work,
yep.
Watching Merrill do his thing, and bringing these strings together, and I'm just like, I'm so moved by this. And so the arrangement of this has really stuck with me over the years, to the point where you and I have done this in a lot of firesides.
Sung it hundreds of times, for sure.
Wherever we've gone, and then we even translated this one into Japanese.
And I was thinking about that too. Some of the songs we translated into Japanese translated well enough. The message came through. Some of the songs are remarkable. I think this one and I think One Step are actually better in Japanese than they are in English. And I give Nobuaki Irie a lot of credit because he was our primary translator and guide and coach through all this. But it's such an interesting thing to see how the spirit of the song and the message of the song, this song in particular, comes through in both languages. I think it's equally moving and touching for people to hear if you happen to be a native speaker of Japanese or English.
I noticed through the process of even the studio how critical it is that each section of the orchestra play their individual parts to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we've had the opportunity to work with an orchestra, this whole symphony thing in different sections playing in tune and grow through the process, if we have to fix something and you run another take, how interesting it is to parallel that to we're all in a master symphony under the master conductor.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that we do, everything is to give praise and honor to his name. And I think that's a little bit where the title of the song came from.
Yeah, really the focus. We've heard some of those principles reiterated in a better way for me in the last few years. I'm pretty sure it was Elder Bednar that I first heard talk about this. The idea that when we talk about the atonement, we've gotten comfortable with the idea of talking about the atonement, right? And he said, no, it's the atonement of Jesus Christ. There isn't an atonement without Jesus Christ. And it was such a nice reframing of the doctrine. And yeah, I think we all understand that, but it's kind of like using the proper name of the church. It's an idea of kind of connecting back to the real basic principle of the gospel. And in this case, as Lauren reminded me a minute ago, it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's not just the gospel. So when we talk about the ways we focus in on him as the center of our lives and our hearts, this song takes on even more meaning for me because it's a simple song. You are my everything. That could be applying to romantic love even. But the way you wrote this song is a reminder that without Christ, we really aren't anything. We have to make him our everything.
And I was reading again in the Book of Mormon, and this scripture has just popped out to me time and time again. In everything that we do, and in following the apostles and following our prophet, they're always pointing to Christ. They're always teaching in his name. They're always stating the importance of centering our lives there. I love what he said to the Nephites when he came to them on the American continent. And at one point in time, he said to the people of 3rd Nephi in chapter 18, verse 24, "Therefore hold up your light, that it may shine unto the world. Behold, I am the light which ye shall hold up." And that's been resonating in my ears more and more and more, that our daily walk amongst associates, friends, neighbors is to hold up his light. And I'm finding myself in work situations and with others and some of the hospital things that we're doing, really focusing more on making sure that they know that they're loved through the light of Christ and through Jesus Christ's atonement. I know that Elder Matt Holland, just spoke about that recently, about the importance of that focus on making Jesus Christ carry everything, carry your grief, carry your sorrows. And his talk was just very powerful to me when I listened to it just recently. I think I fall short of it because I get caught up just in the daily stress of things and daily life, but hopefully I'm trying to program a little bit more not to be afraid of holding up his light.
You know, I just started a new assignment in our home ward to lead the discussion for gospel doctrine class for Sunday school, and that's always a little intimidating for me, like trying to make sure I got everything right and I'm not saying anything I shouldn't say or whatever. But one of the things that's helped so much is I just started studying some of this and trying to prepare a few lessons is the idea, and it's reinforced now more completely and better than I've ever seen it done before in our church curriculum, that everything points to Christ. Some people that, when we first start talking about the Old Testament, well, it's old time, it's different rules, it's the Mosaic law, it's stuff that doesn't really apply to us anymore, and that's not true either. There's plenty of places where it does, but the place where it applies most, in my view, is where it reminds us that Old Testament, New Testament, American continent, Nephites, whoever, all of us, and even today, and maybe most especially today, it's all about finding our way back to Christ and making him the center of our lives. And that reminder has been really good for me. It's helped me find things in the teaching, in the discussions we've been having about historical figures, the big patriarchs and prophets of the Old Testament, but they too understood that it was all about walking with Christ, and some of them even very specific examples of how they physically did that. They had a personal walk with Christ where they actually saw him and met him. And I thought, wow, that's good for me. That's a good reminder that there's relevance in those stories, because it's the same challenge for us today, not necessarily to walk with Christ personally and physically, but be with him, make him the center.
I was called into a room, our current calling in serving in the hospital in Salt Lake City, to an older gentleman who had just lost his wife. And the nurses asked me to go in, and these were the circumstances, that she had just passed about an hour ago, but she was still in the room. And so as I knocked and entered the portal, there's prayers that are said at that point in time in regards to, oh, please help me with this situation. But as I got into his room, he was quiet, but at the same time, he was ready to talk. And he started to tell me his life story. He started to talk about their 62 years of marriage. And of course, as I'm looking at her lying in the bed, and I'm seated right there, and I listened to him talk, it was fascinating to me to have him reminisce in regards to his love for this beautiful woman. And then he went on to talk about the way she held up Christ's light. And I said, tell me a little bit more about that. He said, in everything she did, whether she was at work, whether she was with family, she was always just full of goodness and no guile. And she would always take time for anybody who approached her. And then when she found an opportunity to approach and to give charity and love, she was the first on scene. And it was just beautiful to hear how he viewed her holding up Christ's light and really making Jesus Christ her everything. Mm-hmm. And they did it together. They did it by seeking opportunities to serve, but at the same time having to go through the muddle of life and mortality through work and all the things that we go through every day. But the real tender experience was when I asked him if he needed any assistance to get back to his car. And he said, I have a few bags. And I said, well, when you're ready to go, I'm right here. And so he said, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So I stood up and went to the door and had his bags and was ready to walk him out to the car. And he walked around the bed and he knelt down by her and he kissed her for the very last time. Mm. But he whispered in her ear, and I could hear with great confidence that he would see her again. He knew she was going to be close, but he knew that she would meet Christ and that everything that she had done on this earth, she would be rewarded for. And he couldn't wait to be with her again. And that whole experience was just so tender to me.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
To not only witness him look at her holding up her light in his life, but her pointing him to Jesus Christ and her making Jesus Christ her everything.
It's a great message. It's a great reminder to all of us. And, we talked about before, this is a simple song with a beautiful arrangement and a beautiful message. And when I hear it, it always takes me back to that too. When we sang it and performed it, it always had a positive impact on the people that heard it.
You are my everything. You've given your love to me. You've taken the load from my life and given me peace of mind. You've been there by my side. You've guided me day and night when I felt so all alone. Your touch has made me strong. You've shown me the way, and I have a lot to pay with love. I hope you will always stay. I'll take the time to help you with those you love, so I may return to you above. It'll take faith, hope, and charity to open the door so I may return to thee. You've shown me the way, I hope you will always stay. I'll take the time